right, folks, this is a Oklahoma weather alert now, right around 10:30 here on this Monday evening. William Cole here live in the Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV Forecast Center, and we are continuing to track severe weather now across parts of southwestern Oklahoma. First of all, you're looking at the live watch and warning map here, and again, severe thunderstorm warnings do continue for parts of Grady, Caddo, far northern Comanche County and parts of Kiowa County. That's going to be in effect until 10:30 this evening. The Weather Service, they're going to have to make a decision now if they're going to go ahead and extend those warnings or not, and I would believe they are. Philip McGee is actually approaching those storms, and we're going to be taking a closer look at those coming up here in just a second. But also, as we take a look at live mesoscan radar here across Oklahoma, this is what's going on. Again, the overview, first of all, again, you can see kind of a line, basically, of heavy thunderstorms now from the southwestern sides of the Tulsa metro. It does extend all the way down into the Oklahoma City metro and then down into parts of southwestern Oklahoma, and this is where the severe weather is now, and that's a brand new severe thunderstorm warning that they've just issued with this storm down here. So again, the storms that we're focusing on down here in southwestern Oklahoma, we've really zoomed this in here now, and again, this is Elgin. Here's Lawton, just to kind of orient you, and again, these two storms right here have a history of potentially producing half-dollar size hail. You see this right here, that's lead storm tracker Philip McGee. Again, he's in between those two storms, and we're going to be talking to him live right now along with live video. But again, these are the strongest storms in the state, and again, they are severe. And I'll go ahead and check that brand new severe thunderstorm warning here that's just been issued as well. But while I do that, let's go and bring Philip McGee on the live line with us. Again, he's on those storms. We're going to take his video here momentarily as well. But Philip, go ahead and tell us what you're seeing. Again, I think you're starting to really get into the thick of it. I think you just had some hail a few minutes ago as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. On the northern side of this storm, William, I drove through just a brief area of hail. I'm going to say probably close to maybe pea-size, maybe even dime-size.
Hey, Philip, real quick, I hate to interrupt you. Can you just check your stream real quick? We're going to take your stream live, but it looks like it's frozen. If you can, just check your stream real quick. While Philip's checking his stream, let me go and pass this along as well. This brand new severe thunderstorm warning, it's in effect for multiple counties. It's going to be in effect for southwestern McLean, southeastern Caddo, northwestern Carter, southern Grady, Stevens County, Garvin County, and northeastern Comanche County. That's going to be in effect until 11:30 this evening. But again, that's for multiple counties. Let me go and show you the live watch and warning map again here. And again, I'm just doing this while Philip McGee is getting his live stream there restarted. We'll be checking right back in with him momentarily. But again, I do just want to go and pass along these brand new severe thunderstorm warnings that, again, we do now have an effect across parts of Oklahoma. Let me take the live watch and warning map here. And again, you can see from Carter County, Garvin County, McLean, Stevens, Grady, Caddo, Comanche, and then parts of Kiowa County. Again, the one for Kiowa County, this is going to be really expiring right now. But again, for the rest of these counties you're seeing here in orange, again, that's going to be a severe thunderstorm warning now in effect until 11:30 this evening. And again, these are some fairly strong storms, folks, an opportunity for some half-dollar size hail, and again, even the opportunity for some winds with these storms as well, again, approaching the 65-mile-per-hour mark as well. So, and in fact, even some ping-pong ball-size hail is what the Weather Service is now estimating. Philip McGee, again, he's on those storms. You see his live GPS location. We're going to take his live stream. Philip, you just had some hail. I had to kind of interrupt you there a little bit, but as we take your live stream, you're right there in the mix of it. Go ahead and tell us what you're seeing and what's happening down there with those storms live.
Yeah, William, from the whole entire night that we've been out on all of these storms, this is probably the most impressive one that I've been on since we've started, and that was from about 4:30 this afternoon. You know, we were on that first warned storm out there by Retrop that had that probably quarter-size hail, but this one, I mean, it looks mean and nasty down here, and we're right, like you said, right in between the two of them right now, but as soon as we get just a little bit closer, I'll go ahead and give it back to you for right now. But we're on our way down there. We're not just but a couple of miles from it right now.
Okay, Philip, appreciate your report there. Your stream's kind of intermittent, but we are watching your stream there just a little bit as well. But again, these are strong storms down here, folks. As we switch back over to live mesoscan radar here, let's go and zoom this out just a little bit. And again, you can see for the Oklahoma City metro, we've had some storms move through, quieting down now in central Oklahoma. These are some tough storms now down here in southwestern Oklahoma. Let's go and switch over to, let's go and put on the hail core tracker. And again, folks, you are seeing the opportunity here for some quarter to potentially $half to maybe even ping pong ball size hail with some of these storms down here. Again, just by looking at the hail core tracker there as well, and also an opportunity for some gusty winds. We're starting to see a little bit of a gust front develop ahead of these storms now as well. And again, that's going to be approaching the Pauls Valley area. So this little appendage you're seeing right there, that's going to be an outflow boundary extending in front of these storms. That's going to be for some gusty winds coming out in front of it. These are severe warns, so we may have some wind gusts here, 60, 65 miles per hour. Again, pushing into the Pauls Valley area. A little bit of a bow line there as well. So again, I would definitely say some 65 mile per hour winds, again, tracking directly into the Pauls Valley area. But even down here for, let's just say, the Marlow-Duncan area with these storms here, again, these are quite severe. These are the real hail producers, these two here on the back end. And again, that's where we're seeing at least an opportunity for some, again, ping pong ball size hail is what the Weather Service is saying. Again, Philip McGee is right there in the mix of it, so we're going to see exactly what he's seen. Again, this storm is basically going to move right over his location. As we go back to his live stream, again, this storm, like I mentioned, he's on I-44 down there, and this storm is going to move right over I-44. So, Philip, you're still on the live line with us. Again, as this approaches now from your west, again, we're really going to be watching to see exactly what you see as far as winds go, and also what you're seeing down there as far as any kind of hail that falls as well. Now, right before we came on here live, I know you were getting some hail. What would you estimate the size of hail to be, again, just about 15 minutes ago?
I would say that it was at least dime size.
Okay.
If you look at the stream right now, William, you're going to be able to see it. Now, I know that lightning has to light it up, but you can see that large hail core that's directly in front of us. But you can also see the back side of that updraft. And like I was saying this a few minutes ago, this is probably the most impressive storm that we've been on because as far as visual, being able to see it, you can see where that spiral on the cloud, or what we call the striation, drawing that hail up into that updraft and then suspending it there, and making it to that golf ball size hail. So pretty impressive storm down here. The cloud-to-ground lightning, pretty strong also. And we're just now on the northern side of the storm. We're about 2 miles from the Sterling exit, and we're really starting to get some serious winds coming across I-44 right now. I would say, as a matter of fact, I'm going to pull over. I'm going to go ahead and give us a live update on what the winds are. I've got my anemometer with me right now, and give me just a second, but a serious cloud-to-ground lightning strike just in front of us.
Okay. Your stream is frozen right now, too, so we'll double-check your stream, but it looks like it's completely froze from here. But again, that's Philip, what he's doing, again, with this handheld anemometer. This is really important as, again, these storms are approaching. Again, in real time, we can actually see a true estimate of exactly what these winds are. And again, 60, 65 miles per hour, quite possible with these. The main real wind threat, I think, out of these three cells that we're watching, it's going to be this approaching the Pauls Valley area. In fact, you're seeing this really this little gust front come further and further out from the storm. The storm is definitely putting some outflow, and again, that's what you're seeing right there. So 65 mile per hour winds, I think, are definitely going to be working, and right there along the I-35 corridor, Pauls Valley, maybe even down towards Davis as well. Again, as this right here really digs in. There's Philip McGee. Again, he's on that storm right there. An opportunity from quarter-plus size hail, some winds. We're about to find out what the winds are. As again, he's got his handheld anemometer. We're about to check those again with him live. And Philip, let's go and switch back over to your live stream here. I think you've got it back up and running. And so go ahead and just kind of give us a play-by-play. And again, it looks like it's calm right now. I don't know if your stream is frozen or if it's just calm right there. But again, it looks like that storm is still approaching from your west. And again, that's when you're going to start seeing some rain, probably some hail mixing in as well. And again, we're about to find out live, again, what the winds are, again, with your handheld anemometer there, as he's right off of I-44, again, just north, it looks like, of the Elgin exit. It looks like you're just north of the Elgin exit there with your live GPS, Philip.
Right.
And is that hail?
Yeah, we are. I don't know if you can hear it.
I hear it, yep.
But we are setting in the hail right now.
What size of hail?
Anywhere between, it's going anywhere between C size to dime size, maybe even a little bit bigger. Main hail core is moving over the top of the vehicle right now.
Let's listen to it. Let's listen to it just for a second, Phil, just so the viewers can hear it. So you can hear it as it actually hits the truck there. But go ahead and listen to that hail. That's the hail core right there, folks. So again, Philip is right in the hail core as it's moving over. But again, dime-size hail, not too bad. I mean, we never want to deal with hail, but I mean, dime-size hail, not too bad. Again, if that's what's moving over. So again, now the stream's kicking back in, hail's falling, heavy rain falling right there as well. And again, we may have just lost Philip. It sounds like he may have just dropped off the live line as well. again, as he's right there in the middle of the hail core, but his live stream is still kicking in. Philip, are you still there with us? Okay, so we may have lost Philip. We're going to get him back on the line here in just a second. But again, Philip right now in the hail core, right there off of I-44 in southwestern Oklahoma, just north of the Elgin exit there. Let's go and switch back over. Actually, we'll hold his live stream. We're going to hold his live stream here for just a second as we go ahead and get him back on the live line. But again, you can see the heavy rain falling. And again, we just heard right before we lost him there on the live line, again, the hail that is actually falling. And again, there on the air. So it looks like his stream is freezing. Again, you have to realize, folks, sometimes when you're kind of rural like he is right there, and also when, again, you're right in the middle of the hail core, you know, sometimes it's kind of hard to keep that cell phone signal going, the data flowing, so to speak. But again, we're going to get him right back on the live line here. We're going to switch from his live stream, though. We're going to switch back over to radar. And again, looks like Philip's right back on the live line here with us. Philip, it looks like we can still hear the hail in the background there, too. How big is the hail now? It sounds bigger. I'll tell you that. It sounds big right now.
Yeah, we were actually just a second ago, the winds were out of the northwest, and now the winds have switched out to the southeast. The hail sizes have started to get a lot bigger.
Yeah, you can hear it.
I would say probably getting closer to quarter-size hail right now.
Right.
People are pulling over underneath the overpasses. You know, don't really recommend that at all because they're going to cause accidents. You know.
Yeah, we can hear it.
It's better to find someplace safe to pull off the road, truck stop or something like that. But we're in heavy driving range. We're in heavy winds right now. The winds are out of the south. I mean, they've changed rapidly. Just a few minutes ago, the anemometer was out the window, and I was gauging 38 mile per hour winds, William. 38 mile per hour winds.
Okay, so now you said the winds are now out of the southwest. You had a northwesterly wind a second ago, right? So you had a little bit of outflow, but now you're in the southwesterly winds. Is that what you're saying, Philip? Or did you say southeasterly winds?
Okay, you're going to have to repeat that. I could not hear a word you were saying.
There's big hail falling right now. You can hear it, folks. You can hear it. So now I was just asking about the wind direction. I think you were basically in the storm. You've kind of gotten close enough to the leading edge, at least, that you're still starting to get a little bit of that inflow. That's why your winds are starting to switching to more of a southerly, maybe you said southeasterly direction, I would imagine, from where you are. But again, we can hear the hail. It sounds big. Tell us again how big the hail is where you are. So you thought it was quarter size about 2 minutes ago. What is it at right now? Again, Philip is out there in the official Oklahoma Customs storm tracking truck, again, driving through this hail core right now live.
Yeah, the hail is quarter-size hail, and I'm telling you what, it's brutal out here. The lightning is picked up in intensity. The winds, like I said just a second ago, with the anemometer, I measured 38 miles per hour with gusts up to 40, so that's before that really big hail started to hit.
So, and this is where Philip is. So this is his live GPS. He's right there near the Fletcher exit north of Elgin. Yeah. Again, there's that purple core. He's moving. That's the purple hail core. Again, it's overrunning Philip right now. So again, the hail that he's in, that's the hail core right there. And again, I think this hail, it's going to max out. I think it's going to get bigger than quarters. It's maxing out right now. This is the max part of the hail core coming over Philip right now, and we may get up to $50 plus here. Philip, what are you estimating? Your stream's frozen right now. You're still on the live line with us, but again, we were hearing those fairly heavy chunks of ice hitting the truck. What would you estimate the hail at right now? Again, right there on I-44 live.
It's probably just a little bit bigger than quarter size right now. It's not quite $50, but I'm telling you, man, it sounds like it's going to come through the roof of this truck.
We can hear it. I mean, we can hear it live.
I mean, it is just unbelievable down here.
Yeah, so it's max hail core coming through right now. So Philip's just getting pounded there. So it sounds like he's saying bigger than quarter size hail. And again, the Weather Service at times, I mean, they've estimated this up to nearly $50, maybe even ping pong, I think is what they were saying a second ago. So, but at least, you know, the smaller the hail, the better. We want it to be smaller. We don't want any hail at all. So when Philip is saying it's closer to just slightly over quarters, but lower than $50 size hail, that's good, folks. We like to hear that. Unfortunately, he's there in the Oklahoma Customs official storm tracking truck. But again, the smaller the hail, the better. Again, for those folks who have to park their cars outside, and again, as the storm unfortunately is moving right over, again, those locations down there in southwestern Oklahoma. Sounds like the hail's starting to come down now, Philip. Again, we're not hearing as much there on the truck.
Yeah, I'm driving further to the southwest
Okay.
to try to get out of that stuff and save my truck.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. We've actually made it through that part of the hail core, and believe it or not, now we're in just basically light rain.
Yeah.
So the main part of the storm is more back to the north and east of us right now. But I'll tell you, it got intense there for just a little bit. And,
Absolutely.
I mean, the winds are ferocious. Not to include that hail too. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're going to break for just 1 second here, Philip. I just wanted to show this here real quick. So this is the hail core tracker. This is a different product here with Mesoscan radar. But again, we're seeing that green going to yellow. Again, those are going to be the max hail cores. So again, we've got 1, 2, 3 max hail cores where, again, we're having hail sizes, again, quarters, potentially a little bit bigger than quarters. So again, this over here in this is really southeastern Grady County, and then also one over here just to the west of Rush Springs, and then there's that one right there over Elgin that Philip McGee was in. He's estimating, or what he saw in real time, again, was just slightly larger than quarters. So we have 1, 2, 3 max hail cores there, and again, those are the severe thunderstorm warned storms as well. Severe thunderstorm warnings down there until 11:30 again this evening. So that's where we are right now. Let's also go and check this as well. We're gonna do an overall radar update here real quick too, Philip. We're gonna get back to you in a second, but I do want to show this storm that's approaching Pauls Valley, because again, this is going to be a wind maker coming into Pauls Valley. This is going to be a big wind maker. This could be 60, 65 mile per hour winds coming in. Again, you see that gust front now developing ahead of that line, again from Purcell down through Lindsay. Again, just ahead of that line, that gust front that's now developing. And again, this is what we're talking about, is this right here. See this little line coming out? This is all blowing air that's coming out of the storm. So this is outflow that's coming out of that storm. And again, this is an outflow boundary. And along that line and at the very leading edge of this storm, again, 60, maybe even 65 mile per hour plus winds, again, are going to be coming into Pauls Valley right there along I-35. Purcell, fairly heavy rain starting to lighten up. But again, all those little white check marks you're seeing, that's all cloud ground lightning. All of these storms down here, very, very electrically active. So that's one thing to keep in mind as well. Definitely want to stay in the center part of your house as these come through, away from windows. And again, you don't want to be outside looking at the lightning as these storms are approaching, because again, keep in mind that lightning can always reach out in distance as well. So keep that in mind. So let's go and zoom the radar back out here. And let's go and take an overview, because again, for our friends up here in northeastern Oklahoma, even from the Tulsa metro now, again, some fairly heavy storms up near the Sapulpa Mounds area there. That's across parts of Creek County, even in the parts of far western Tulsa County. Again, some fairly heavy storms right over, look at that, focusing now right over the Jinx area. Again, back through Sapulpa, Kellyville starting to lighten up there off of 44. And then as we zoom this out a little bit more, again, you can see near the Bristow area, stretching further back to the southwest, again near the Stroud area, all the way down 44, and then also over through the Sparks, Meeker area, rain starting to lighten up a little bit, but for our friends there in Prague, also over through Boyle, and then a little bit further to the south, Johnson, Shawnee, Tecumseh, there in Pottawatomie County. Also Tribby, again, some fairly heavy rain moving through. Lots of cloud ground lightning. Again, these storms are all non-severe. These are just heavy storms, but again, still quite strong with a lot of cloud ground lightning. And then far southern Cleveland County, locations like Purcell, locations to the east of that, Etowah, Slaughterville, things starting to wrap up a little bit in Slaughterville, Corbett as well, and then also down towards Rosedale. Again, some fairly strong storms are going to be moving in towards the Rosedale, Winnett area as well. And then even eventually towards Byers, again here over about the next 30 minutes. Paoli, again, all that right there is along that I-35 corridor. Maysville, again, very heavy storms moving through there. In fact, those are potentially severe storms from Wayne down through Maysville. And again, approaching the Pauls Valley area as well. Again, there you can see that outflow boundary where, again, we may have a few wind gusts, 60, potentially 65 miles per hour along it. And then as you get back over through Purdy, Cox City, again, there's a hail core right there. Again, that's where we could potentially have some quarter plus size hail. And then as we go a little bit further to the west, near the Rush Springs area, again, really a hail core moving from Rush Springs to the south. Looks like it's going to stay just to the north in the Marlow area, but again, that's another fairly intense hail core. And then again, what we saw with Philip McGee just a minute ago from Fletcher down through Elgin, again, we know for sure just slightly over quarter-size hail. We saw it live here on Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV with fairly heavy rain and intense lightning as well. Now let's go and switch back over to Philip McGee. Again, he's still on that storm there, very close to the Elgin area. It looks like he's on the southerly side of it, or the southern side of it. And Philip, go ahead and give us an update. It looks like the rain where you are is starting to stop. Looks like you just got to the south of that activity. But give us an update and kind of give us a recap of what you've seen here, again, over the last 15 minutes, as you were really, that max hell core basically went right over you about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, William, that's absolutely right. And we're actually going to get back on I-44 and head back to the east and look on the backside of this storm as we drove through it. We're actually on dry pavement right now, if you can believe that or not.
Yeah.
But actually, I'm going to pull over here in just a second before we get back on 44. Now, this is the southern end of that storm, and if you can look at the stream, you can see here in just a second, whenever the lightning lights it up, that spiraling effect there on these clouds. And that's what we're talking about.
Philip, it looks like your stream just froze. I mean, literally, it just froze. And I think it's kicking back in now. I know it's rural down there. You're right there in the middle of that storm. It's going to happen, unfortunately. But it looks like it's trying to kick in now. But it's kicking. Okay, I think it's kicked in. Yeah, it's kicked back in now.
Okay. You should see that. You can see it directly whenever that lightning lights it up. There's about a 15-second delay, but you can see that spiraling effect directly in front of me, and the base of the whole entire storm is directly to my would be east, and so I mean it's a mean, nasty-looking storm, and as you could tell a while ago, we just drove through it, producing at least quarter size, maybe even larger hail on the now eastern sides of Elgin and across the I-44 corridor there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're just watching your live video there on it, your live stream, Philip. Now, I tell you what, if I don't know from your location where you are now, I don't know if you're able to dip any further to the east. I know you're right there on 44. There's not really a lot of exits off of there, obviously, on the turnpike. But I tell you what, this storm just on the southern sides of Rush Springs, I'm watching this storm very carefully. It's definitely got a pronounced hell core. There's no doubt about it. I'm going to switch this radar over. This could definitely be some half-dollar size hail south of Rush Springs, between Rush Springs and Marlow. Some half-dollar size hail, I think, quite possible there. But again, we're definitely watching the storm here very carefully down here. But again, this storm is quite severe. So like I said, Philip, I don't know for you off of I-44 if there's any way for you to get east on there or not. I know your exits are fairly limited there. But again, we're watching this storm fairly carefully. This is a very severe storm now, folks, on the southern sides of Rush Springs. Half-dollar plus size hail, quite likely. There's going to be some wind gusts in there over 60 miles per hour as well. And but again, Philip, we're watching that one carefully. The other storms are becoming a little more outflow dominant. So the other storms over here from Paoli, Maysville, Purdy, those storms, a lot of times when you start to get those little gust fronts out in front of them, it kind of cuts off some of the warm, moist air that's feeding into these storms. It's kind of like the lifeblood of the storms. And so these storms are now starting to become a little more outflow dominant. And again, overall, the intensities on these are coming down just slightly from what we've saw. But there's that gust front, so now we have wind coming out of these storms, some outflow from these storms. The warm, moist air, it's kind of being cut off here, right? There's like a little barrier, it's cut off. So again, these storms, they're not weakening, but or I shouldn't say they're not weak yet, but there is definitely a weakening trend with these storms. And again, we're talking about from Wayne all the way down through Purdy, but again, right here in the Pauls Valley area, again, an opportunity at least still for some near 60-mile-per-hour winds associated with that gust front to move on through. But I think there is going to be a slight weakening trend with this activity right here, as again they do become, this activity here does continue to become a little more outflow dominant. Now, I want to go back to this storm right here real quick as well. And Philip, I don't know if you can tell me if you're able to get just a little bit further to the east, if you're able to get an exit there to get over on that storm. But I'm telling you, we're still watching that storm, again, very carefully, that one there in Rush Springs. So I don't know if you're able to tell me in my ear there, if you're still on the live line with us, if that's one you're going to be able to get a little bit to the east on. And so if you can, just let me know on that. And then also, we are going to, let's go and zoom out the radar here. Let's go and take an overview as well. Again, going to take a look around the rest of the state here. So again, from the southern sides of Tulsa, again, some fairly heavy rain going on up there. Again, non-severe, and again, really the only severe weather It's down there in southwestern Oklahoma. That's where it's remained throughout the day. But again, these are some fairly heavy storms now on the western sides of the Tulsa Metro. We are talking about from the Broken Bow area over through Jinx. Look at that there in Glenpool, all that dark red showing up. Again, that's going to be some fairly heavy rain. Not much in the way of hail showing up with these storms here, but again, a lot of cloud to ground lightning. Look at that, a lot of direct strikes to the ground. All those little white check marks there, that's what those are. And then again, as we're looking a little bit further to the south, again from Mounds back now on the southern sides of Bristow near the Slick area, that's going to be there in Creek County. And then further to the south, we're talking about locations like Welty, back down through, even coming up on IXL here, eventually here, probably within really in about the next 10 minutes. Again, from Welty down through IXL, Castle, Okema right there along I-40, Cromwell. And again, these are all just heavy thunderstorms, non-severe. Shawnee starting to wind down a little bit. Maud, Tribby. Again, as we get closer to the Purcell, Wayne area, Purcell starting to lighten up a little bit. But again, Wayne, still some fairly heavy rain moving through. Byers, Rosedale, Winnett. Again, all heavy rain happening right there. Maybe some small hail mixing in. A lot of cloud to ground lightning. Then from Paoli down through Maysville, back down through Purdy. Again, this storm there, especially right there over the Purdy area. Like I said, I think it's becoming a little more outflow dominant. You can see that little outflow boundary moving through Elmore City, coming into Wynnewood, Pauls Valley. Some gusty winds over 60 miles per hour possible there. But again, it's cutting off a lot of the warm, moist air into that storm. So again, the intensity starting to come down slightly with that storm. The most intense storm in the state right now, folks, it is a storm just to the north of Marlow, between Marlow and between Marlow and Rush Springs, rather. This is a very severe storm, quite strong. And Philip, if you're still on the live line with us, go ahead and let me know, again, if you're able to get over east on that storm. Were you able to let me know on that? Okay. Okay, so Philip, let me go. We'll go.
Headed towards Fletcher.
Okay, so you are able to get off of there. Okay, so Philip McGee, he's going to go over and intercept that storm, because I'm telling you what right now, Philip, that is definitely the strongest storm in the state. A lot of cloud to ground lightning, and again, definitely an opportunity for you know, the hail core tracker now on this is probably going to put the hail size. It's a fairly compact hail core, but hail core possibilities with this, I mean, definitely approaching probably the ping pong ball size now for sure. Again, that's what the Weather Service was warning on earlier. And again, the hail core now really coming up. This is really between 81 between Rush Springs and Marlow. This is 81, the state highway that basically runs between those two. And again, we're seeing that purple going to white. Again, that's radar estimating that hail core again approaching, again, that ping pong ball size hail. A little bit of a shear with that storm as well. And again, the shear associated with that is, again, creating that max hail core with it, or that large hail core. Again, that spin is just helping to kind of keep that hail suspended and making it even bigger before it eventually comes and hits the ground. That other storm Philip McGee was on, again, that one is also starting to weaken a little bit as it's now moving over the Sterling area. But again, still some dime to quarter still possible with that storm, again, as it does move through Sterling. But again, Philip is eastbound now, and again, he's going to be intercepting this other storm. This is still, again, a quite severe storm, again, between Marlow and Rush Springs. So we're going to be tracking that one very carefully. And Philip, what's your ETA on getting over on that storm? Looks like I don't think your GPS is updating there, because it still has you on I-44. So it looks like your GPS hasn't updated, but it looks like you're off of 44. Is that right? And you're heading eastbound on that storm?
Yeah, I'm off of I-44. I'm headed east on Highway 62. I think the closest town is going to be Fletcher, and I think it said like 20 miles. Just to back up what you were saying, you know, whenever I pulled off of I-44 at the Medicine Park exit, that storm was the one that you were talking about, and on the back side of it, you could see those lifting striations that was taking that hail core, and like you said, maximizing it, you know, up to probably golf ball, maybe ping pong ball size hail.
Yeah, and that's exactly what's happening here. So, you know, sometimes you hear shear and you start thinking tornadoes. We're not necessarily thinking tornadoes with this at all, but this storm, it does have a little rotation. It has some mid-level, some broad rotation, but if you look carefully here, this right here, see this little notch? So that's going to be the inflow notch, but this is going to be the area of spin. Again, we're not talking about tornadoes, we're talking about hail sizes here, but the reason why we have this max hail core is because, again, we do have a little bit of spin, and that spin is helping to keep that hail suspended, and it's making it even larger. So that's why this hail core continues to grow. But again, this is a quite severe storm, again, with a little bit of broad rotation. Again, not too concerned with tornadoes with that, but again, that is a big time hail producer there. And again, ping pong ball size hail, definitely possible, crossing 81 there between Rush Springs and Marlow. Really right now, it's going to be crossing 81 literally right now. So from there, let's go and take an overview one more time here. And let's go and just zoom the radar out. And as we do that, we're going to put it back into movie mode as well. And again, you can see in movie mode here over the last, let's see, this is about over the last hour or so. Again, you can see storms kind of intensifying up around the Tulsa metro. Again, heavy thunderstorms there, extending all the way down I-44. Now on the far southeastern sides of the Oklahoma City metro, we're talking about locations like Cleveland County, parts of Pottawatomie County, fairly heavy storms there. We'll give you a closer look here in a minute. And then again, we have these severe storms down here across parts of southwestern Oklahoma. But again, that storm just to the south of Rush Springs, that is the strongest, most severe storm in the entire state. Live GPS locations of all of our trackers. Again, you can see them spread all over Oklahoma. Lead storm tracker Philip McGee in the Oklahoma Customs official storm tracking truck. Again, he's on that storm down there. And again, we'll be taking a look at his live video coming up here momentarily. So here's what we're going to do, folks. We've been live for several hours this evening. We are going to take a quick break, and we'll have another live update here in about 15 minutes. But otherwise, keep it here with Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV. We'll keep you up to date with the latest live weather information for Oklahoma.